This set is the most iconic part of a very beloved series, the logo itself. Star Wars is a unique IP because the fan base spans many generations. The colors, the fonts, everything in this logo are honestly so recognizable. Oh wait, is that back? No, that's not backwards for you. Okay. Are so recognizable. Is this going to be backwards for you? I don't know. Anywho, I'm really excited to share this build with you. It's awesome. First, I'm going to rate it, and then I'll get into more detail in my review, some final thoughts, and then you'll be on your way. Let's get into it. I do my ratings on a number of metrics to help you figure out if this set is right for you. Hopefully this isn't backwards. Scale 4 out of 10. I was going back and forth on this one. It kind of could be a 5, but I think ultimately it leans more towards 4. It kind of, like the franchise, works for any ages. So if your kid's old enough to understand this, this is perfect for them. But if you're an adult, this is a great set. It's an easy build, but it does use some weird build techniques, but they're not very hard to figure out. Aesthetics 10 out of 10. I feel like it's not showing perfect on camera, but the colors are absolutely perfect. It looks amazing. And there's a ton of details between the letters that I really, really love. It's technically not necessary to it, but I do think it adds a lot of dynamic and makes this look like 1,000,000% better. I think the font was really well replicated into this and overall looks fantastic. Also, there's a fun little thing hidden here and I will show you in just a second. Durability 8 out of 10. This is honestly fine. For some minor aggressive handling, I feel like it could be knocked off of a bookshelf, and as long as it's not like 5 feet plus in the air, it wouldn't break. Or if it did, it would just be like a minor little that was really hard to pull off, actually. Not to mention that was just super easy to fix. It'll be fine. Value, 8 out of 10. The fairest way to compare a set like this that's well under 1,000 to ones like that are like 2,600 pieces is to break it down to price per brick, aka price per piece. Pieces and bricks are kind of used interchangeably in the LEGO community, so you'll hear me use both during this. There are some factors that can affect a set's value, like licensed IP or just like really, really weird pieces that are used during that are harder to manufacture. Star Wars obviously is a licensed franchise and it's owned by Disney. It costs $59.99 and has 700 pieces, giving it an 8-cent price per brick, which honestly is insane. Sometimes when you see licensed IP on the smaller sets, it'll be like a kind of high price per brick cost, but I was very happy with this. Time 10 out of 10. This took me 1 hour and 35 minutes. Usually I would say I kind of place between like 350 to 425 pieces per hour. This is 700 pieces. That puts me at just under 350 pieces per hour, which is like insane. It broke the scale. Overall S tier. I watched Star Wars like once as a kid and I was like 6 and I was playing with Barbies at the same time. I remember Lord of the Rings so much more than Star Wars. People are gonna get mad at me for this. I'm not a fan of Star Wars. I remember nothing. It's not that I dislike it or that I'm gonna make people mad. I'm not a fan of Star Wars. Not saying I dislike it. It's just genuinely I don't really know much about the franchise. Luckily for you, because I don't really have an emotional attachment to Star Wars, this is gonna be a very unbiased review because I don't have any reason or nostalgia to put to this to really love it, but I am planning on going back and watching this because I feel like I've missed out on a lot, but I just think it's a really cool build. This build is 6 bags and actually has 2 sections. Technically, this build can be done by 1 or 2 people. Obviously, this one was just me, but this could be a really fun build to do while watching Star Wars with a loved one. I don't know if you've noticed, but LEGO is coming out with more and more sets that can be done with multiple people, which is really cool. I actually get comments once a week, usually from an aunt or uncle who wants to start a LEGO project with a niece or nephew who are asking if I think the set I'm reviewing would work for that, which is really cool. I know that people have done LEGO projects with loved ones for a long time, but I really appreciate that now they're putting it on the front of the box how many people could do the set if it's more than one. The easiest way to find these sets is in store because it's on the front of the box, but not everyone is as privileged as me to live super close to a LEGO store. So I do wish that these sets had their own category on the website called Build Together or something. You might not realize it, but the categories on the LEGO website already have some overlap, so this doesn't seem impossible. For example, if you go into the Brickheads category, you'll see the Revenge of the Sith heroes and villains listed. If you go into the Star Wars category, you'll also see the Revenge of the Sith heroes and villains listed there. So it doesn't seem impossible. But until then, absolutely feel free to ask me in the comments because I love getting LEGO comments. It makes me happy. Honestly, it makes me smile every time someone asks me if this can be done as a LEGO project with a loved one. One of the cool things with this build is how quickly you can see it coming together. After bag 1 and bag 4, you really start to see the logo coming into view. Where we are at right right now in the second section, if you're paying close attention, you'll definitely be able to see the bottom of the W. And by the end of bag 5, you'll see the R and S. By the way, the R is super fun on this and the S looks incredible. I was kind of hoping we'd get another little secret surprise in the S, but unfortunately not. I'll show you the one in the T at the end of the build. You already saw it, but there's something unique I noticed with it. I really appreciate that we didn't use all smooth plates for in between the letters. Also, there's a lot of pieces in the middle that were different colors from the yellow and black, which was a lot of fun for building. I saw some people talking on Lego Leaks about how this set was not worth it, but I think it is. I know you can buy a Star Wars sign for like $10, but you don't get to build it. The price per brick on this one is low, and it's a highly enjoyable build. The dimension between the letters really makes the difference on this one aesthetically, which again, I love it. 10 out of 10 would do again. So obviously you saw this during the build, and I mentioned it in the intro, but there is a little secret in the T here. Now, to get this off, because I saw some people struggling with it, it's super simple. You're not going to want to pull it off from the actual top brick. Try pushing on the second brick and then it'll come off super easy. So we're going to open up the lid like that. I'm saying this like you're following along with your own set at home. I'm showing it. I'm demoing. Anywho, when you open up this lid here, you see this. This is a little fun Easter egg from the opening of Star Wars. I did have to look this up because, again, I don't know what I'm talking about here. But it is a shot of, I believe this is the Tantive 5 being chased by a Imperial Star Destroyer. Yeah, I did just have to look at my notes. I seriously don't know much Star Wars. By the way, this Imperial Star Destroyer is totally our progress bar at the bottom of the build instructions. Just a fun little thing. I don't think a lot of people have noticed that, but I did. Which, in my opinion, that was a super fun little thing to add, especially because you see these logos pretty early on in the movie. I think. Oh my gosh, like I actually feel like I sound so dumb. I didn't even see Harry Potter until like 2 years ago, so I'm just kind of behind on a lot of these movies. It's not really that like my parents intentionally like sheltered me as a kid. I feel like for one, I kind of grew up in a weird age where like when I probably would have been getting into the first movies of Harry Potter, the ones that were out in the theaters were like the later movies, which was maybe a bit much for like a bit much. Did I say a bit much? For a like 8 to 10-year-old kid. 12 probably fine, but it's probably just like a little bit too young and there was a lot of movies to catch up on. Also, my parents didn't have Netflix and you could do the DVD thing, so it's just like you would have to go and buy all the DVDs and stuff. And like, I'm not throwing shade towards my dad. I love my dad, but we watched a lot of the same few movies. Like I watched Napoleon Dynamite so many times growing up, and Lord of the Rings I remember pretty damn well from like him playing it over and over, but like Star Wars for some reason just wasn't one of those movies. Harry Potter, so like I've missed out on a lot of those, so I'm trying to go back and watch them because like I don't know enough about this franchise, but I do love the Star Wars land in Disney and I want to understand what's going on, and I liked The Mandalorian, but like I'm missing so much context. I only know who Boba Fett is because of like Mandalorian. So I did watch all the Marvel movies though. That is something I did. I remember doing that because like I was at the right age for that when that was coming out, and I had a car. I don't know. Anyways, let me know if I should be watching it like kind of in chronological order according to like the movies timelines or like release order. Anyways, back to this. This is a very fun set. This whole like brick built Lego thing seems to be a trend. We just got this with the Marvel set. Now the Marvel set did have minifigures coming out of it. Personally, I'm kind of not a fan of it. I think it kind of looks... I like this style better. I saw some people in the Star Wars Lego leaks who were complaining about the lack of minifigs. I personally think this looks better without all the minifigs. Just a personal thing. Again, I'm a big fan of the dimension in here. That was a really fun feature. Thank you, Lego. Thank you, designers. I'm always very happy with the choices you choose to make because I would not have thought to do that, but it looks great. I'd recommend doing this as a solo or a duo set. It's fun for anyone of any age, and if you are an aunt or an aunt, if you're an aunt or an uncle, this is a good one to do with that kiddo in your life, or just by yourself. This doesn't need to be a kid set. That's the coolest thing about it. Anyways, my voice just cracked. My throat hurts from all this filming. Oh my gosh. But anyways, if you like this video, just tap like. That would be fantastic. Click subscribe because that seriously means the world to me and helps me out so much. And with that said, I will see you guys next time. Next video, we're going to be reviewing the Petite Sunny Bouquet. By the way, I did mention that I was doing the Porsche 911 for my next video. This was a new release and I wanted to talk about it first, but that video will be coming after this one. Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.